Yeah, we've had an ethics board.
I thought we was missing last I heard a member or two or something.
Yeah, that's all
It's
right. Doesn't mean we
6:59.
don't have a board. Means that we just had a member.
I just want to make sure that.
Oh, okay.
So they're just a little bit less ethical right now.
Okay. Got it.
My phone's about to die. Right?
Date of like 7/24 zoning, there was no video zoning.
The what?
Is that putting zoning 7/24? And also, I see Barry Walker walks, I'm saying.
Go tell him to come inside. We ready
Barry
to
like come
start.
back on the board or something, because he's on the planning board, and then even though it said zoning board, I think they corrected it, but it was the planning board.
Okay, it's on. It's live.
A second?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go for it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Wanda Brooks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Yeah. Let's see. Commissioner Callahan, Commissioner Markowitz.
Present.
Commissioner Lees, Commissioner Brooks,
Present.
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner De Pasquale, Chairman Morelli.
President.
Commissioners Callahan, Lees, and Alvarado are absent. Let the record indicate the presence of Deputy Corporation Counsel Joseph Lupo.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to make an announcement before we get started. There are some cases that are not going to be voted on this evening. The first one is number 3468. That's 108 Cleveland, if anybody's here for that. 3472, that's 15 Wyoming, if anyone here is for that. 3470, 104 California, if anyone is here for that. The following cases have been adjourned for this meeting. That is number 3473, 231 East Chester, 3463, 155 West Market, and 3475, 211 Edwards Boulevard.
Great. Case number 3443, application of 475 East Penn LLC, care of Roni Harvey of 115 East 72nd Street, New York, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2H off-street parking size for a modification to variance number 3443 in order to maintain new interior dimensions of the attached garage at 457 East Penn Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 158, Lot 66, on the Nassau County Ready Tax Map.
Good evening, Mr. Lynch. Name and address, please.
Good evening, Board. James Lynch, 16 May Walk, Project Manager for East Penn Street project.
Okay. So, Mr. Lynch, tell us, please, what the changes were in the garage that was originally
Well,
built.
we were before you, I believe it was back in February, for off-street and a curb cut, which worked out perfectly. The main floor, or I should say the first floor of the house, was still under construction, and in doing so, they removed the garage wall to allow for plumbing work to be done. In doing so, they decided that they'd like to try and see how they can maximize the bedroom without losing the garage space. So the typical garage is to be 20 feet in length. This went down to about 18 feet. With the owner believing...
So Lynch, one sec. Excuse me, if everybody can please just keep it down. We're in the middle of being on the record right now. Thank you.
With the owner believing that they weren't going outside the envelope of the house, that it wouldn't make that much of a difference. But we were already heard on this, so it was a wait and see. So Rich Shue was there to do the inspection and said, you have a couple of ways of going about this, and that one is take the closet out and return the wall to its length. Extend the garage was the second one, or go before the zoning. So they chose to go before the zoning because both those other options would be very expensive. I guess that's the plea, is that they've already put $325,000 into this renovation for this house on top of the cost of the buy. So I have pictures for you of the driveway as it is, the garage as it is now with a Volkswagen sedan, which is Mom, the owner. No, we're not Mrs. Lynch. So, you know, the fact of the matter is, she uses the garage
Thank you.
every day. She moved over from Jersey City, and you lock everything up over there. So that's the, I mean, we're not talking about a Fleetwood Cadillac. It's a Volkswagen Jetta. That's the car she uses. There's probably 18 feet. As you can see, you can walk around. And it lends to the flow of the apartment itself, having a closet in the master bedroom. So obviously, you know, when it was explained to them, you know, they're here for forgiveness and with the understanding that it would be just an exorbitant amount of money to have to extend the garage out.
Okay. So, Mr. Lynch, then we're no other changes to the project other than what was described above, just now, right?
And what was allowed at the last variance, yes.
Okay. Do any members of the board have any questions?
Just for clarity, Mr. Lynch, just for the record, the garage was supposed to be 20 feet deep, just to have valid off-street parking. But
Correct.
due to, you know, some interior changes, that it was unforeseen, the space is only 17 feet, but it's still utilized as a parking space,
As you see the pictures, the car's there every day.
so it's not causing any issues for any of the neighbors or anyone else.
No, there's no issue with the street parking. Everything stayed the same, and it allows, in fact, as you see the car in the garage, allows an extra space for visitors, and so that they don't take space off the street. So there's no space was taken away to not allow it to be a garage.
Understood. Thank you.
Anyone else? No. From the audience, anyone want to speak in favor or against? All right. In that case, I'll move to grant.
Second.
Case number 3443, application of 457 East Penn LLC, care of Brony Harvey of 115 East 2nd Street, New York, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2H off-street parking size for a modification to variance number 3443 in order to maintain the new interior dimensions of the attached garage at 457 East Penn Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 158, Lot 66, on the Nassau County Land Tax Map. Chairman Morelli has introduced the motion to grant the application. Commissioner Markowitz has seconded the motion. Commissioner Markowitz?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner De Pasquale?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Thank you, folks.
You're welcome.
Case number 3459, application of Michael O'Leary of 1115 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2A off-street parking curb cut size to maintain the curb cut size at 1115 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 58, Block 133, Lot 374, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, Mr. Trapp.
Good evening, Chairman Morelli. Kenneth Apple, 30 West Park Avenue, Suite 202, here tonight on behalf of Michael O'Leary, who now resides at 1115 West Park Avenue in Long Beach. This property is a bayfront property, as you're well aware. It's on West Park, where the traffic gets pretty heavy to get in and out of your driveway. He's a contractor, but it cost him nearly $2 million to build this home to live on the bay. He's been a resident of Long Beach for the last 5 years, and he's owned this home for nearly 13. He purchased it after Sandy. He then decided to renovate it, and that's where he lives. On weekends, his family comes out to visit. The background of this is when he built this home, the plans were a little confusing. Everything was built. The curb cut was extended 4.6 feet inadvertently by his construction. It's his company, but the workers did it inadvertently. What's unique about this is there's only 3 feet left from where the 4.6 feet is extended. An average compact car is 14 to 16 feet. The parking space is useless anyway, unless it's a motorcycle. Now that it's built, you know, obviously he's seeking to keep it. It's easier to get in and out of his driveway, especially when he's got a couple cars there. And on West Park, if you're familiar with getting in and out of those driveways and those butt ends, it gets tough. Like I said, this is different because there's only a 3-foot curb cut. You're not taking away an off-street spot at all by granting this. and you're allowing him to maintain what was built. And like I said, it was built inadvertently. If you look at the plans, they're a little confusing. He had an architect. He certainly wasn't looking to pull anything over the building department's eyes because he knew they were going to have to come back and do a final inspection for the CO, so it's clear that he didn't try to get over on it. It was an accident. The benefit to this, obviously, is now the parking apron. The cost to correct, it's going to cost them, 5 figures to go fix this now. Like I said, for a mistake, which really benefits nobody that if it's put back into place. There's no undesirable change to the neighborhood. Like I said to you earlier, that there is 0 parking gain by adding this 4 feet. The average compact car plus what's there now with his next door neighbor, you can't park a car there anyway. There have been extended curb cuts granted in the past. It can't be achieved by any of the method. Now that it's built, like he said, he's admitting that he did it in error. He'll speak. He is a contractor. It's in its place. And we don't believe it's substantial. In total, it's about 7 and change. And like I said, it's a useless spot. And it's not going to have an adverse effect on the neighbors or an impact on the neighbors based on the fact that nobody can use it anyway. So, like I said, we're coming hat in hand. It was a mistake. Obviously, the house was getting a brand-new CO. It was a complete rebuild. He certainly wasn't looking to pull the wool over anybody's eyes and sneak it in because he knew the building department was coming for a final inspection. That's where they saw it, and that's what's brought us here tonight. My client, if you have no questions for me, my client would like to, speak on that behalf as well.
Yeah, you can go ahead and come up.
Sure.
Just explain it to us. That's fine. Okay. Good evening, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, hi, my name is Mike O'Leary, 115 West Park Avenue. I built the house about 2 years ago. If you look at the blueprints, it doesn't show the actual curb cut. It says to call, it does say to call the building department to verify it. But, I'm looking to get these guys to go to work, and I might call the building department. And it was just a complete oversight.
Okay, and it was discovered when the original CO was going to be granted for the new
Yeah,
house, right?
the building inspector came out to sign off on the CFO, and they established that the curb cut was too big.
Okay, and just for curiosity, as Mr. Apple mentioned, that basically if the curb cut, which is now 29 feet, am I correct, was restored back to 25 feet, that the 4 feet still would not allow for another car to be parked there, only because of the fact that there is close proximity to the adjacent
Correct.
house and driveway. Okay. That was the only issue that was cited, am I correct, just for the record?
That's it.
Okay. Do any members of the board have any questions? Okay, would anyone from the audience like to come up for or against? I don't see anybody. I'll move to grant.
Second.
Case number 3459, application of Michael O'Leary of 1115 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2A off-street parking curb cut size, to maintain the curb cut size at 1115 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 58, Block 133, Lot 374, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Chairman Morelli has introduced the motion to grant the application. Commissioner Markowitz has seconded the motion. Commissioner Markowitz?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner De Pasquale?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Case number 3428, application of Long Beach West LLC, doing business as LB Coffee and Tea of 220 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a modification to the existing conditions of variance number 3428 to extend hours to 12 a.m. for the property located at 220 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 59, Lot 25, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Kenneth Apple for the applicant. Ms. Lynch, I'd just like to hand this out to the board. This is just a little bit of evidence. And this board has the history of this case. We presented it last year to have the bar approved so that we can build a bar to operate Long Beach Coffee and Tea. It's really a golf simulator establishment. They were looking to serve alcohol. Needed to have the bar approved. One of the conditions was the time restriction. I'll defer to counsel on this, but I don't believe that time could be restricted legally. That being said, they're still looking to close around midnight. They've operated for a year under this condition. I just presented to you a few Fridays of the last 4 or 5 months to show you that the bookings get a little heavier just for the golf towards 10 o'clock, and we've shut down at 10. So it's causing a little bit of, I wouldn't say a hardship on the business, but certainly to optimize their business, we'd like to be open a little bit later. We don't plan on being open past midnight anyway, but the applicants certainly would love the opportunity, and they've been problem-free. I mean, they've operated, it's a unique establishment, nobody else has this in town. It's not a place where kids are going and just hanging out and drinking. But they want the same opportunity that the other businesses around them have, Beach Cafe, Rock and Olive, Bricks and Brawley. They can stay open till 4 in the morning. We're not looking for that, it's not that kind of place, but to start turning down bookings and lose money for a restriction that technically I don't think we should even have. But we're, I'm not even gonna get into that harshly. I'd rather just come humbly and ask that we extend that time restriction for now, or eliminate it, so that they can maximize their business and operate properly.
When your clients came, if I recall, it was offered because they said, this isn't that type of establishment. And full transparency and disclosure, the board nor myself at that time was aware that such a time restriction would totally be preempted by the State Liquor Authority, because the State Liquor Authority occupies the field. So the fact that for the past year they've been adhering to that condition, and it is, in my official legal opinion, completely unenforceable, and they didn't just say, you know what, to heck with it, we're going to do what we want. It's my opinion that the condition should be removed as a matter of law.
The plan was to come back and do it the right way, as opposed to do it that way, because we're well aware of the law. After the case was presented, I didn't present it. We're aware of the SLA law and that the restriction is not appropriate. Again, they offered it, so I'm not blaming anybody on the board or the city. It was offered, but now we're back humbly to remove it.
From what I've understood, Mr. Rappel, is that they have operated a very reputable type establishment, and I've walked past there at night coming back from other venues on that block, and from what I've seen inside the place, it doesn't really smack as a bar to me anyway. It kind of reminds me more of a Starbucks. I mean, I see people on laptops sitting around doing whatever work they're doing in the evening. So, and again, as I said, I've never been in there at night, but I can say that from what I've observed and passing on that street at night, that it doesn't look like anything that would resemble a bar to me. I know that they have liquor and they have a bar, and as council mentioned, there's the issue of, the liquor authority with restrictions and so forth that allow for anything that they grant a license to stay open. So you said that there have not been complaints.
There have not been any founded complaints, I should say.
Okay.
People
All
call,
right.
but we don't know where a noise complaint. There's no founded complaints. The police
Okay.
department's been there.
Any members of the board have any questions? Would anybody in the audience like to speak in favor or against? You can come up, please. Give us your name and address, please. Tell us your favor or against.
My name is Liz Ega, E-G-E. I'm at 225 West Walnut Street, and I am in opposition. My husband and myself, we recently retained an attorney who was supposed to be here, but last minute couldn't make it, so he's written a letter on our behalf that I would like to be submitted to the record, or I can read it aloud.
Either or, you could
Yeah.
submit a copy of the letter and then it would become a part of the record?
Is it a long letter?
No, not very long.
It was emailed to the board right before the hearing.
If you could,
so you guys
I wouldn't
could see
mind
that.
if it's read into the record.
Okay, feel free to read it into the record.
Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Dear members of the board, we represent James and Liz Ega, who are the residents of the two-family residential property located at 225 West Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, the Ega residents. We write in opposition to the application of Long Beach West LLC, DBA LB Coffee and Tea, the applicant for a modification to variance number 3428. As the board may be aware, in or around 2024, the applicant originally applied for variance number 3428 asking for permission to operate their business as a new bar, as required under Long Beach Code. The board granted the original application, but recognizing that the new bar would be in the vicinity of residential properties, prudently placed a condition on the applicants prohibiting from operating the bar past 8 p.m. on the weekdays and past 10 p.m. on the weekends. The Eager residence is located directly to the rear of the applicant's property, with the backyard of the Eager residence abutting the rear patio of the applicants. Our clients are and have always been encouraging of new businesses in Long Beach, including in their neighborhood. However, in the past year, the Eagles have suffered substantial hardships as a result of the applicants' operations. Among other things, the applicants have been operating outdoor dining toward the rear of their establishment that causes substantial noise and excessive lighting, which emanates onto the Eagles' property, often late at night, making it difficult for them to sleep or engage in quiet enjoyment of their home. Indeed, the police have been called at least 8 separate times in the last year for noise complaints coming from the applicant's rear patio. While the Eagles are supportive of the applicant's business and wish them nothing but success as a general matter, they are extremely concerned that an increase to the hours of operation by 2 to 4 hours each day will only worsen an already unmanageable problem. Thus, while the Eagles are happy to discuss alternatives to the applicant's proposal and to attempt to find an applicable resolution to these issues, we must object to the instant application for removal of the very same conditions that this board felt were appropriate only a year ago. Respectfully, Mark Lucciarelli. I don't know, do you want a physical copy of the letter as well? Oh, you, okay, sorry, thank you.
So just to explain a little bit what I was saying with my legal opinion at the beginning. The condition that was placed on the business to stop serving and to close, I believe that was at 10 o'clock at night, was the condition on the variance.
I believe so for the weekends.
Yeah. I understand that they agreed to that condition and that we put it in place, but it is my official legal opinion that based on essentially a concept, it's called the supremacy clause, as the city of Long Beach, we're preempted by the state, meaning that the state liquor authority has jurisdiction over locations, locales that sell alcohol. They grant them their, their SLA license and whatnot. If we were to put a restriction on there with respect to, hours of operation, they could just say, we're not going to listen, and then when it goes to court, the city would likely lose because we don't have the authority to tell them what time to close. At the time the condition was agreed to, honestly, we weren't aware of that. I was not aware of that. It was actually based on another application that came before this board that I was researching, and I stumbled upon another case that was almost identical, except in that case, the bar was, the establishment was allowed to serve liquor until midnight, and then the municipality told them that as of midnight they had to stop serving liquor and close, and that was deemed to be preempted by New York state law, and that decision was reversed. So here we have a similar scenario where it's 10 o'clock at night, they did agree to it, but now they're saying we don't want to do that anymore, and I don't believe that the city has any authority to force them to close at 10 o'clock.
Okay, so you're saying this would be, this is going to be something that's up to the state? Am I, or the liquor authority?
Well, it's the state liquor authority occupies. So when the state occupies the field or a superior government entity, so like the federal government has, certain rules, right, that, protecting certain liberties, the state cannot infringe on those liberties and preempt the federal government. The county can't preempt the state. The city can't preempt the county. We're just lower on the authority chain, if you will. And because the state occupies the authority via the state liquor authority, it's my opinion that we don't have the authority to literally to deny this, really. And we really didn't have the authority to put it in the first place, but that was done basically as an agreement at the time. And they were kind enough to adhere to it.
It appears that they made a concession. What Mr. Lupo was saying is, it appears that they made a concession basically that they didn't need to make even for the 10 o'clock. And if they wanted to technically operate as per the laws of the state liquor authority, which in New York State is 4 a.m. for bars, they probably could do so. Now, I have a question for, Mr. Apple, if maybe Mr. Apple could just,
I just
come
have
up.
a couple of questions for.
Okay, go ahead, and then you
All
ask.
right, so you said that you called the police a couple of times?
We-
What happened with that?
So the police, they were all noise complaints. Most of them were past 10 p.m. from noise coming from the rear patio that they've built out, or they leave the back door open to the establishment that also goes out to the back patio. So we've called with noise complaints also early in the morning, pre-8 a.m. There's been noise. It's coffee shop and bar, so it's kind of like a morning and night thing. So the police have gone and talked to them, but, you know, they just tell them to keep it down, and they say if there's more noise.
Have they lowered the volume when you called the police?
It's not so much music, it's patrons out in the rear bar. We hear like the golf clubs hitting the balls. It's, you know, it's just like general bar, restaurant noise that we hear. So the police kind of say there's nothing they can really do about it.
What time of the year did these noise issues happen? During the summertime?
Yeah, spring, summer, and fall. Just really not the winter when it's too cold to be out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anything else?
Just so you know, with respect to the noise complaint, and if it's loud and, you know, rowdy, whatever the case may be, I'm not saying anything with respect to, you have every right to call the police. We have, you know, noise violation ordinances and whatnot, or sound control ordinances. 100%. I mean, and speak with your attorney. Maybe there's some type of civil agreement you could come to just with respect to the alleged nuisance. But the only thing that I'm saying that this board should not rule on, or really cannot rule on, is how late they stay open.
Right, I appreciate that. We just wanted to come tonight too, because we're just, obviously if they're staying open later, then we're just, you know, anticipating the noise issues we're already experiencing will, you know, get worse or be later into the night.
No, we thank you for voicing your concerns, obviously, you know, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
I just had a question for Mr. Apple. You know, obviously, we're hearing both sides of this, you know, Mr. Apple, and my question would be, because obviously we're not going to be able to tell them what time they can stop serving or serve inside in the bar, but do you think there'd be any kind of accommodation they might be able to work out with just closing up the back patio at a certain time? Not that they would not be able to be allowed to be open in the main simulator rooms and in the bar area inside, but maybe, you know, at a time when, you know, noise is supposed to be quieted down, let's say 11 o'clock or something like that, would they be able to maybe stop
I spoke
using
to
the
them.
outdoor patio? Just a
I
question.
discussed that when they came in. I think they're open to that. And that's why when you asked me if there's any complaints, I said none founded. We did foil all the calls to that location from the police department from March of '23, and there's not one founded complaint there from the police department. As a matter of fact, I think the commissioner and a lieutenant walked in there to inspect the place, I guess, on a complaint, and they left with no observations of anything array. I mean, I understand the neighbors' concerns. I mean, certainly I'll encourage my client to speak to them. They sound amicable to talking about it. If it means, you know, shutting down the back patio, if it's useless to them, then we're definitely open to that, I assume. I mean, that would only be during the summer months anyway, so 8 months a year, you really can't sit out there, especially at night.
Yeah, how many, just out of curiosity, like, how many people can actually sit out there,
I've
you know,
never been out
tables?
there. I gotta be honest, I've never been out there. I don't know. Can't be that many. It's a thin alley.
Yeah.
It's the same alley that Beach Cafe has. We don't know where the noise is coming from.
Okay,
They're open later than us,
okay.
you know.
All right, so you answered my question. Anyone else? Anyone else want to speak in favor or against from the audience? Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion, or you want to wait? Go ahead.
Okay, so I move to amend the temporary conditional variance to remove time restrictions for the applicant.
Okay. Case number 3428, application of Long Beach West LLC, care of doing business as LB Coffee and Tea of 220 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a modification to the existing conditions of variance number 3428 to extend the hours to 12 a.m. for the property located at 220 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York. Hold on one second. Also known as Section 59, Block 59, Lot 25, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Markowitz has introduced a motion to amend the existing conditional temporary variance to remove the conditions,
No, to remove the time restrictions.
remove the time restrictions, and Commissioner De Pasquale has seconded the motion. Commissioner Markowitz?
Grant with the amendment to remove the time restrictions only.
Okay. Commissioner Brooks?
Grant to remove time condition.
Commissioner De Pasquale?
Grant to remove the time condition.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant to remove the time restriction.
This application has been granted
Thank
to
you.
amend to remove the time restrictions. Case number 3476, application of BSD Long Life LLC, care of Avi Walken of 52 East Park Avenue, suite number 203, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.15B front yard, 9-105.15E height, for alterations to an existing commercial building at 367 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 46, Lot 141 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, sir. Name and address, please.
Yes, good evening, Board. My name is Robert Litt from the Litt Law Group, 66 North Village Avenue, Rockville Center, New York. And we are counsel for BSD Long Life LLC, the contract vendee of 367 West Park Avenue in Long Beach. Thank you for your patience as we set up our little demonstration here. Thank you. Good evening. My client has submitted an application seeking approval for 2 minor variances, which, if granted, will maintain the current improvements at the premises. These variances were already approved and the structures already exist. One variance is for a front yard setback, as if 5 feet is required, while none currently exists. The other is for a height variance, as the height limit is 2 stories and not to exceed 25 feet, while a height of 3 stories and 40 feet currently exists. First and foremost, I want the board to understand how much my client investment in this property will help not only the businesses and residential community in the immediate vicinity, but also the city of Long Beach at large. I have personally been a big fan of Long Beach my whole life. I not only grew up and lived in the neighboring town of Oceanside, but also lived in Long Beach for a period of time. While Long Beach has always been an epicenter and an unbelievable place to live and operate a business, Long Beach of today is unrecognizable compared to when I first lived here. The city is vibrant. The shops, the eateries, the nightlife, the beach, the list goes on and on. I dare not say this is the place to be, whether you're looking to raise a family or open a business. However, there is one very big eyesore that stands out. Whether you're a residential property owner in the neighborhood or a passerby looking to take advantage of the businesses and the beach. The subject property, 367 West Park Avenue, has been vacant for well over 10 years and is infamous in the neighborhood for not only being an eyesore, but also a possible danger to the community. There has even been unwelcome visitors to the building at some points. The building is derelict and is begging for an upgrade. Anyone passing the beautiful, scenic, serene area stops in their tracks when they pass by this building. It's time for it to be improved, and that issue must move on. My client is standing here before you today, ready to take on this task and to turn this eyesore into a beautiful, successful commercial community center that will do wonders for the residents of Long Beach. My client wants to improve and give back to the community. My client has been operating a business in town a few blocks away from the subject property for many years and hates passing this eyesore on his way to and from work every day. He's looking forward to transforming this eyesore into something Long Beach can be proud of. The variances he's seeking are not only minor, but they already exist. He is also prepared to take the necessary steps to ensure the residential properties adjacent to the property are well protected. While our experts today will speak further regarding this, I do want to stress that my client intends to position all lighting towards the building and place living fence along the perimeter to ensure the residences maintain their privacy. With these efforts in place, my client's proposal will do nothing but help the community, and I want to show them just how beautiful this building will look. As you can see here, and I'm going to turn these around before the community is large, the building, this is the plan to essentially rehab the building, bring it back to its former glory. This is a photo of the building in the park, the view of the parking lot. We intend to, like I said, maintain beautification. We're going to have bike racks. And more importantly, to our residential community, which are our friends to the north of us, excuse me, I apologize. We plan on cleaning up the rear and putting a little fence along the edge over there. So, it's important to maintain the privacy. There will be lights that will be down here before we turn it back, and cameras to secure it. But again, our goal is to be a good neighbor. Because what's there now doesn't work. We will share with you the same picture of the building here as well during the day. Just so everybody can see what it's going to plan on. That's our plan. My client intends to have a retail on the bottom floor. Nothing that will bring noise or pet issues, which will ensure that the neighboring properties are protected from those unwanted nuisances. We will focus on making it a retail venue that the community so desperately needs and is currently missing at that part of Long Beach. There'll also be office space on the top 2 floors. This will ensure normal business hours at the property. Simple retail and office space with normal business hours, bettering the community at large. It also goes without saying that given the current derelict property and the amazing potential my client's proposal offers, the board should have no choice but to approve these variance requests when applying the 5 statutory factors that typically are used for these variances. This proposal is not just good for my client, but is good for the community, plain and simple. I am now going to introduce our next speakers. First, you'll hear from our architect, Ari Bagun, who will discuss the design plans. Afterwards, you'll hear from Barry Nelson, who will explain that the proposal will help the community and improve all neighborhood property values, both residential and commercial. Lastly, my client, Avi Walken, who is here today to answer any questions the board may have and also allay any concerns the community may have regarding this project and the intentions of this property. And I now would like to invite up Mr. Bagun to at least discuss the technical aspects of this property. Excuse me.
Ari Begun, 364 Mulberry Lane, Lawrence, New York, 11559. Ari, A-R-I, last name B as in boy, E-G-U-N. Good evening, members of the board. Our goal with this project is to transform the existing 3-story building, currently in a state of disrepair, into a modern, functional, professional, upscale space, while at the same time maintaining the core structure and respecting the surrounding neighborhood. As shown on the site plan and the survey, the property is a 35,000 square foot property located in the Business A zoning district on a lot measuring 100 by 350 feet. The building coverage is currently 36.6%, well below the 90% maximum allowed. We will be maintaining the existing footprint, height, and setbacks, all of which have been previously approved. Site enhancements include bike racks to promote sustainable transportation, a living fence to provide privacy, and inward-directed lighting to minimize impacts on the neighboring properties. If you look at the floor plans on A101 through A103, you'll see the first floor is designed for commercial retail space with a lobby for the second and third floor, which is for professional office use. Moving on to the facade, on sheets A200 and A201, as well as the renderings provided, you'll notice our proposal includes a beautification of the facade to revitalize the streetscape. On the rear facade, openings have been limited to egress doors only, with no windows, in order to minimize light and noise impacts on the neighboring residential properties. I'd also like to mention the majority of the work is focused on the interior, further reducing disruption to our neighbors. Sustainability is a core focus of this project. As seen on the drawings, we will be retaining existing skylights to maximize natural daylight and reduce lighting requirements. We will be keeping existing overhangs to minimize heat gain from the sun. We will be incorporating LED lighting throughout for efficiency. And my client is also exploring and looking into solar panels to generate renewable energy, and also exploring electric vehicle charging stations to support clean transportation. In closing, as the drawings and renderings illustrate, the project will restore, modernize, and revitalize the property while enhancing the neighborhood in a thoughtful and sustainable way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Nelson. Haven't seen you in a while.
No. Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. It's Barry Nelson, 220 Pettit Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710. I have some exhibits I can hand in to the board. Photographs of the subject property and the surrounding uses, and aerial views from Google Earth and the County of Nassau website. I didn't take the aerial views. They were just came off of the website. The photographs were taken by myself. In my opinion, they fairly and accurately represent the subject property and the surrounding use. The subject property has history. Oh, that's all right.
Rob, you can have mine.
Okay. I'll take yours when you're done.
Oh, Rocco.
Trying to save paper.
Right, but we have 7
I
zoning board
understand.
members,
So originally, the building was approved as it exists today under case 1129 in 1997. I believe the chairman was a member of the board at that time.
I was, and I have been practicing across the street for over 30 years.
Yes.
So I'm well familiar with this building.
So I'm not going to get into the area because the board is very familiar with it. Just the history of the property. It's been vacant since approximately 2012, maybe a little bit, right around that time. The interesting aspect of this application is that it doesn't include any, or it's not any proposed expansion of the building, but the outside for cosmetics improvements. And that would include the facades, lighting, security, bicycle rack, fencing, etc. And it would be to the city's liking and to the neighbors, I hope. So does the applicant.
I can just interrupt you real quick, sir. I'm sorry. I don't mean
Yes, sir.
Just for clarity, so the footprint of the building will not change, and in essence, this is going to be a rehabilitation of the entire cosmetic outside of it?
Exactly,
Property?
including fencing, landscaping, and lighting, and security.
Thank you.
The only other addition might be to the west would be the 2 tax lots on the westerly side, not to the corner, but lots 40 and 76. And on the easterly side, I don't believe the last 3 lots were originally on the construction, but it is part of the property tonight. The interior, as council mentioned, retail on the first floor, 3 units, and the second and third floor would be for professional offices. The city adopted the comprehensive plan for the city. and I think that was adopted in almost probably 2 years ago, August 2023. This proposal fits 100% within that comprehensive plan. It doesn't include a residential component. It provides for walkability. It provides for a interaction of other retail and professional services, and you do have apartment buildings further east. This is the last block within the Business A district. West of the property would be the residential districts, the residential developments. East, you have the Business A on the north side and the south side, and you do have buildings that exceed the height that this building is existing at. Nevertheless, it's a use that's compatible with a proposed use that'll be compatible with the residential and the commercial, and it's a property that generates substantial real estate tax to the city, to the school, and to the general county. And it is in excess of $115,000, with the city approximately $33,000, and I believe the school district receives in excess of $65,000.
Mr. Nelson, I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
That left me a little confused before you go further. So, just to be sure and get it on the record, so they're not increasing the footprint of the building, but now you were just alluding to going to the west and going to the east, that there would be some kind of
No, there is
movement or
land.
construction.
No construction, land, tax
Okay.
lots. So, I don't,
So in other words, the property that was to the west, which was the dairy barn,
No,
have
no,
they
that doesn't
purchased that,
include
or
that.
does that have anything to do
no,
with
there's
that
a
property?
30 by 100 just to the west of the subject property.
Okay.
And that would be tax lots.
Yes, there's a
40
small
and 70.
area that's to where the east, just east of the border of where the dairy barn
Right.
used to be. So they do not own that property.
They do not own Dairy
Okay.
Barn. And just to the west, just before you get to the dermatologist, I believe there was 3 lots that weren't included originally. Now as part, or over the years, have assembled to the property and provides parking on the site. And that would be tax lots 54 through 56. 60
Yeah,
by
just to
100.
reaffirm that there is no change, if any of the residents are, are listening.
Actually,
There is no change to the footprint of the building,
100%.
nor the height.
The
Because basically
first floor-
what brought them here was that the building has been unoccupied for such a long time that they still now need variances to what is already there.
Correct.
Okay. They're not adding anything, but when they built it, they were granted variances in '97 that enabled them to go up 3 stories. Now, because the building was, I'm not going to say abandoned, but shut down, let's say, basically around the time of Sandy, now they have lost that, let's call it variance, that was granted to go up 3 stories. They're just reapplying to continue it.
Correct.
Okay.
And they
I
are
hope
fitting
everybody
with-
understands that.
And they are fitting within the plan that was set forth in the comprehensive plan. No residential at this location, offices, professional use, and retail.
Right, because that'd be a mixed use then.
Correct.
Right.
And that should be in my testimony. The board, I'm sure, is very familiar
All right,
with the
thank you,
area.
Mr. Nelson.
Property values would be substantially protected with this redevelopment. It's almost a blighted building now.
Yeah.
There's a hangout, et cetera. And the
God only knows what's inside of it, so, yeah, I understand.
Thank you.
All right,
Any other
thank you,
questions?
Mr. Nelson. Any other questions for Mr. Nelson? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank the chairman and the board for giving us the opportunity to present today to you our project plan here, which we're very excited about. We did have the opportunity to speak to the owner of the commercial property across the street, Lancer Insurance, who was kind enough to write a letter in support of this project as well, and I'd like to share this with the board. I have copies for everybody here.
Now, they are the contract vendee, and they're purchasing the property from Lancer, am I
Yes,
correct?
yes.
That's right.
All right.
And I just wanted to conclude, number one, we're here to answer other questions that the chairman and the board would have. We do have the owner here as well. Any other questions that you may have for him? But also, again, I repeat, I think we've done our due diligence here and made certain that we've cared seriously for the neighborhood in particular, and we thought about that with some consideration as well as this project. And I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Any members of the board have any questions for the council? At this point, I'm just going to ask, no, they don't, sir. No questions, please.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask anybody who would like to come up first in favor. In favor, sir? I see a hand. Name and address, please, sir.
David Delaney, 823 Ponte Vedra Boulevard, Pontevedra Boulevard, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, 32082. I'm the former CEO of Lancer Insurance Company. My brother Tim and I are the guys that brought Lancer out here, and I guess it was 1986 we purchased that old supermarket and finally moved into it in 1988. 2000, just to kind of correct some of the other statements, I believe it was 2005 that we bought that property, that Sunrise Center, from the State Bank. We didn't do it because we were trying to expand our hold on Long Beach real estate. We did it because we were worried that the building might fall into the wrong hands. It was in foreclosure. It had been vacant for 5 years. It had been vacant really since 2000. So it had been vacant, and we wanted to make sure that whether it was going to be a problem for us with our 300 people across the street, or whether it was going to be a problem for the community where most of the folks that worked for us lived and had helped Tim and I have a great success at Lancer. So we bought it, and we figured we'd come up with something to do with the building so that it wouldn't be a bad thing for Long Beach. We'd come up with something to do with the building that would not conflict with our occupancy across the street and would also hopefully help the community. Because we felt we owed a lot to the folks at Lancer that had worked there for so many years. It was probably 2000, so we're coming up on September 9th will be our 20th anniversary of owning that vacant building. And I suppose I should apologize to a whole bunch of people in Long Beach because we probably haven't been the best stewards of that building, but you have to trust me when I tell you that we have struggled mightily trying to balance the whole idea of helping the building move on at the same time as not having anything happen to that building that we thought might be detrimental to the community or to Lancer's operation across the street. And that was a delicate balancing act. I think it was 2009 that we came into the variance board and suggested a one-story increase in the building to try to put, if I remember correctly, it was 40 residential units into the building.
I remember that.
And that
I was on the board, and I remember Sean Schaefer was the attorney, and it was met with a lot of opposition because clearly people didn't want a greater addition. It might have even been two. I don't remember, Mr. Delaney, 2 stories. But I remember that there was a lot of community opposition only because the shadows of it, you know, going up further or against the residential area. Then I remember during that period of time or after, I think the hospital may have been interested in it also. But I know there is a history of people looking at it and walking away from it.
It went on and on. So to your point, in 2009, the variance board sent us a very clear message. They didn't want a residential project there, or at least a residential project that would make any sense economically, because we're not developers. We needed to bring somebody in that could develop that property if the town was willing to have a residential. And no developer that we've spoken with over the years thought it would be economically feasible to do anything since kind of the baseline that we had asked about in 2009 had been unanimously turned down by the city, by the variance board. So anyway, we embarked on this 2-decade journey of listening to an awful lot of people who came into us with a wide range. I mean, it was everything from Public Storage to a Holiday Inn Express to a cultural center. It was just, it went on and on and on, right? Most of the proposals that we received were from folks who quite candidly didn't have the financial resources to get anything done, wanted us to donate the building to them, and they were going to try to figure it out later on where the money was going to come from to do work on the building. So we held on and held on. And you know, the taxes mounted up. I think we bought it out of bankruptcy at right around, I think it was 2.75 million. And you know, if you put that in the bank 20 years ago, it would have been a much different number. But we made our deal, and we did it because we really felt we had a responsibility to make sure nothing bad happened to that property. And that had a lot to do with Long Beach and a lot to do with 300 people, most of whom lived in Long Beach. And it obviously had a lot to do with our occupancy across the street at Lancer. So 6 months ago, plus or minus, Avi gives me a call and says, I'm a Long Beach guy. I hate looking at that building as much as you do. This town is thriving. That building should be brought back to life. Is there a way that we can work together? My vision, for what it's worth, I'm an insurance guy. I'm not a developer, so no one should really care what I think. But my vision for that building was always that it should be restored. It was a beautiful building when it was originally built, and it could be a beautiful building again. And when Avi laid out his view for the building, this combination of retail on the ground floor and office space above, I'm all for it. So that's fundamentally why I'm up here. I think this would be a great ending and a great beginning, if you will, a great ending to a long journey for us at Lancer, and a great beginning to have that building come back, get back on the tax rolls, create new jobs in the office space, create some new retail excitement on the ground floor. I'm all for it.
Okay, thank you, sir, Mr. Delaney. Was there someone else in favor that wanted to speak? Come on up, please, in the back. Good evening. Just please give us your name and address.
Hi, good evening. My name is Pam Warner. I'm a resident at 348 Westchester. We have been here since 93. My husband and I have endured since 93, looking at the defunct building, having it be utilized by a doctor that took over, and for a couple of years it seemed to be profitable and whatnot. We didn't know all the statistics of it, but here we are now, right here, and we have spent a ton of money to have a property that was disvalued because there was a defunct building behind us. So we are excited about what could happen with this building. We just want to make sure that, you know, we are, the people in the neighborhood are not going to be traumatized by the comings and goings of the building. They're talking about retail in the bottom, which I think is great, but what, they're going to be open until 10, 11 at night, you know, and it just being, you know, 2 floors of business is great. We're excited, totally excited, that the building is actually going to be something, and that we're going to have a vitality. And so I just wanted basically to say that, just that it's been almost, like I said, we bought the house in 93. So, and we look now, and we've been there all these years, and that house, that building, with the exception of almost 2.5 years, has been absolutely, totally nothing. I mean, so it means a lot to us that Long Beach is willing to try to improve it, because my husband and I have no plans to go anywhere. We have a son here who lives in Long Beach. He owns a business here in Long Beach, and I know he's not going anywhere. So we just want to make sure that when we're not here, that, you know, the value of the properties, we own 2 properties on Westchester Street. We just want to make sure that the values of the properties, you know, and are there for my son.
Thank you. You know, it
Thank
seems that, as you said, you've been looking at it for all those years. I've been looking at it also I was there before they built it. I remember the old Bohack that was there before that they took down. And I've been there all the years that it fell into disrepair, and I look at it every day myself.
When we bought
So
our
I'm
house,
right
it
across
was
the street.
defunct. It was a beautiful building. It was
Yeah,
just
no, we
defunct.
understand. I mean,
Yeah.
we remember as I said, I remember the history too. I've been on that block over 35 years.
Thank you very much
So-
for listening to me.
Okay, thank you very much. Someone else in favor, against? Come on up. Yes, name and address, please.
Sarah Modenesi, 340 Westchester Street. Sarah Modenesi, Modenesi, 340 Westchester Street. I'm actually the neighbor of the Werners. And yes, I too. Closer?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I too lived there when Bohack was around. I'm aging myself, but my only question is, how high are the fences going to be in the back, and what kind of fences will be in the back? Because they destroyed our fence in the back.
They can answer that for you.
We'll have
If
to come back up and
Yeah, if you'd like to come up.
Can I look at the pictures? Because
Yeah.
I'm directly behind
Yeah,
them.
let the owner come up. The applicant can come up and explain. Sir, you know what? Come up to the microphone, just so we have it on record, and we have your name and address on the record, okay?
My name is Avram Wolkin. I live in the neighboring Far Rockaway. My office is at 52 East Park Avenue, right on top of Bank of America. I'm going to answer. First of all, I'm going to go with the lady that spoke before. I agree with you. The way you see it, and the way she sees it, and the way you see it, that's the way I see it every morning for the last almost a decade. And my business is not, my office is here because I love Long Beach. My business is out of state. I never did development in Long Beach. I did similar project, more than a few. And I drive by it and I look at it and I say, like you say, this is such a beautiful building. I know there were development there, attempts there. The only way from a business perspective and from a neighborhood is obviously not to build a big box there. It's just to take what's there. We're not moving a brick, we're not moving a piece of metal, just beautify it and bring it back to life in what we can. Commercial is what I know how to do. I've invested so far a significant amount. I have a whole plan. I'm going to be investing my own funds in here, and my plan is to bring it back to life. I don't know so much how financial sense it makes. It somehow survives, but I feel it's a pride for me, for Dave, for what he put, for all the time it was waiting. I think it's the right thing to just come and do what's there. We're going to do a beautiful building, and I want to tell the neighbors, I want to make sure everybody's very happy. Everything you'll have from now is an improvement from what you have now. You understand? So I bought cards with the number of my office, and a lady in my office, I used to work for the city of Long Beach.
I'm just going to answer the question regarding the fence.
Yeah,
There's a curved fence that's there.
Thank you, Mr. Litt.
That's here. We plan on keeping the same height of the fence that's there and just cleaning it up, making green, making sure it's not broken and it's damaged. We're going to make sure there's no fence, there's going to be a fence put back to the same height that's currently there, and put back there, cleaned it up, and make sure that there's no way to look through and anything else, so there's plenty of privacy. That's what
Okay.
we're absolutely-
Thank you very much for that.
For you, the privacy. So you have that covered. It's our interest, and it's here. That's for you for the contact doing construction and after.
got
You
it.
all neighbors. I feel like I'm telling a watermelon dealer about watermelons. You all know
Thank you,
what I'm
Mr.
talking about.
Walker. I
Any
appreciate it.
questions
more
for me?
questions, ma'am? Ma'am, do you have any more questions?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, thank you for coming up. Thank you,
Ready
Mr.
for
Walker.
something more?
Thank
Any
you.
more questions for me? No.
No, sir.
We're good.
Thank you.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Paul Werner, 348 Westchester. How we doing tonight? I'm totally for it. I just have one question. After the story we just heard about the coffee and tea, is this zoned for a restaurant bar?
It's zoned for commercial, so, you know, as far as a bar, that's, so for somebody to get, to have the ability to serve alcohol, they have to apply to the State Liquor Authority. That's not something that we really have much control over. The only thing is when somebody puts an application in to the State Liquor Authority, they have to notify the municipality, and then we have 30 days to write whether or not we have any opposition or objections to it.
So if they wanted a restaurant bar, then we would be notified as the residents, and we can...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you could, you know, and then in that respect, you know, you could always communicate any objections to the city as well. And that's something that we would include
To the building
also.
department.
Yeah, to the building, I'm sorry, to the city's building department. But in that sense, I mean, even if you reported it to the city manager's office or the corporation counsel's office where I work, you know, we would still make sure it got to the right place, and then that would be included, you know, in the decision that the city made, either yay or nay. Well, I don't want to say yay or nay, whether they were objecting to it or not.
Okay. And just one question to you, gentlemen. Are you planning a restaurant bar or anything like that?
We don't have any plans at this point whatsoever to put a restaurant in this location. We really want to keep it retail, with normal retail hours that are typical in the community. We're not going to be, the plan is not retail ends at a certain time. On the other locations, we're going to pretty much stay within the confines of the time that's typical in the city. Okay. Retail.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up. Is there anyone else? All right. Well, at this point, no one against, right? Okay. I did ask if anybody was in favor or against. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I move to grant.
And I'll second it.
Case number 3476, application of BSD Long Life LLC, care of Avi Walken of 52 East Park Avenue, Suite 203, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.15B front yard, 9-105.15E height, for alterations to an existing commercial building at 367 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 46, Lot 41, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Markowitz introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Markowitz?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner De Pasquale?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli? Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted. What, I gotta read your line? Done. We're done. We're done.
Thank you, Board. Have a happy holiday weekend.
Let me just turn the camera off.
Thank you very much. I'd like to send my best of luck to everyone. Congratulations. I will.
Have a nice holiday.